Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Ray. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So I think last time we talked about the new program where we're saying it was what we called that a citizens request management system, right?
Yes, that's correct.
CRMs is the government language for it.
Yes.
So the name you actually came up with, I think, was what, Salinas Connect?
Salinas Connect.
So you've been working on this for some time, and maybe we could revisit how you selected this particular, citizen request management system versus others, and who was involved in the city to help you with that selection, and kind of walk us through up to the day you had your big launch.
Yes, it was definitely a long process because, if we're going to use a program citywide, we need to make sure that it really is going to work for the city, but more importantly, work for our community members because that's who we serve. So it took about a year, and there was a core team appointed by yourself, and it included myself as well as Patty Barajas, who's the city clerk. We had somebody from our IT department, Gina Moore, as well as Eric Sandoval from our GIS team. So we had different people with different areas of expertise. So during the process, we had several demos from several different vendors, and some of the vendors were able to do A, some of the vendors were able to do B, and Q-Alert, who we ended up with, seemed like they were going to be able to do A, B, C, and D. So everything that we needed in order to help us better provide service for our residents.
And how long did that process take? You just decide what you needed and then select a vendor that could fill that need, and then basically how many, it must have been months, right, for you to
Yes,
make that.
it was April of 2017
Wow.
is when we began our search, and felt like we had 50 demos. So it was definitely a long, drawn-out process, and we also, during the process, included city staff, it's especially from key departments like our code enforcement department, our maintenance services team, as well as our special ops with the police department who handle abandoned vehicles.
Right.
So we did not make a final selection until about the end of 2017. So yes, it was a very long selection process, very detailed, and we wanted to make sure that everybody's needs were going to be met with the program or vendor that we selected.
Right. So you selected it, you started training in it, I guess, or no, there were some initial things that Q-Alert had to do. They had to sort of add some data and add some categories for requests and work with you and the other members of the team to make sure they had enough information so the system could work for the city of Salinas, right?
Yes, absolutely. And, I really have to commend our city staff because, to try and figure out what types of service requests we have throughout the city and who's responsible for what. And, one type of vehicle issue may go to one department where another that's similar but a different type of service request may go to a different department. It really required a lot of meetings, a lot of conversation with the various departments. And everybody really pulled together and gave us the information that we needed. And so we had surprisingly a really quick turnaround in gathering that information with the cooperation of all those departments. It took a little bit over a month to gather all of that information, get it over to the vendor, QSend Technologies, who we also refer to as Q-Alert. Then the implementation process started in January of 2018. And that process was actually a very quick process as well. We immediately began with lots of training. In the initial round of training, we trained over 200 city staff
Okay.
on how to use the program, and then following the initial training, we had some supplemental training to make sure that everybody was ready to go. When we went live, it was just business as usual, a regular day.
Wow, that's great to hear. So let's talk about some general numbers. So when you did the soft launch, you had so many requests per day, and people were just getting used to using the system, right?
Yes. When we were in the soft launch, we were averaging about 100 service requests a week.
Okay.
And so during the soft launch, residents were not able to go onto the website or download the mobile app just yet. We hadn't completed that portion of the program yet. So this is basically residents that came into City Hall
Right.
or went down to the city yard or gave our offices a call. So prior to Salinas Connect going live, we were averaging 100 per week, and since we've gone live in March, we're now up to about 250 service requests per week.
Wow, that's quite a jump.
Yes.
So you can tell from the numbers that most all departments are participating in some fashion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that was surprising to us, because when you think service requests,
Right.
you're thinking the maintenance department
Right.
and trees, but we've had like a silent issue, that we weren't able to see before Salinas Connect, but now that we have this data, we can see abandoned vehicles really has the most requests out of the city. And in fact, right now, out of over 2,000 requests, total, about 37% of our requests are abandoned vehicle related.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so our vehicle abatement team really has been out there working hard on getting those inoperable vehicles
Right.
taken care of and doing a really great job.
Yeah. So let's take this down to sort of the practical level of Sophia gets a request by phone. Okay. I've had this vehicle parked in front of my house. It's not my vehicle, and it's been here a week, and it's obvious nobody knows who owns it, and I've been calling around, and my neighbors don't own it. I need some help. So what do you do with that request?
I handle it myself.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of the system, because it only takes a minute or two to get the information into Salinas Connect.
Right.
And so where before a call like that, I would have to transfer to the vehicle abatement team
Right.
in order for them to collect the information. Well, they may have received a voicemail because nobody was available to take their call.
Right.
So this really is a service to the resident. And it's as simple as collecting the who, the what, and the where. Who's
Okay.
calling, what the issue is, and where it's located.
Right. And then you enter that into the Salinas Connect, and then what does it do from there?
So from there, it goes directly to our vehicle abatement team. I had mentioned before that sometimes there's very closely related issues, but they really go to different people. So this takes the guesswork on the city staff side. So a office technician that may be answering the phone and may not be familiar with vehicle abatement or with who is in charge of trimming trees, it takes the guesswork out. All they have to do is collect that basic information, which takes no more than a minute or two,
Right.
and Zoom, it's off instantly to
So
them.
when, let's say that person came in this morning, you logged it into Salinas Connect. When would the citizen receive some notice or notification that they're in the system, or it's being worked on, or you have a case number, or I'll get back to you, or kind of, what's the next step? Is it immediate? Is it you have to wait a few hours for response?
No, it's immediate. It moves at the speed of technology.
Oh, great. That's great.
So as soon as the service request, as soon as we hit the submit button, based on the resident's notification preference, it could be text message, it could be email, it could be a voice call, whatever they've opted or provided us with,
Right.
that's how they're going to get their service request number. From that point, city staff is doing their best within a day's time to give some sort of an update, whether it be that somebody will be out to inspect the situation, or whether it will be, that it's placed on, in order, and that somebody will be out soon to address it.
Right. So they'll get some kind of a notification probably the same day.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's wonderful. Then they'll know somebody's working on it, their complaint's been received, and then let's say it's a vehicle abatement. So do they receive a prompt if there's no action? They have it logged in. So is there some, reminder to the staff that this is an outstanding request?
Yes, absolutely. And that was one of the main things that we were looking for, because, we all get busy, and sometimes one call or one issue blends into the next.
Right.
And so there are what we call tickler reminders or escalation tool to remind city staff if something has been sitting there and has not been addressed within so many days. It sends a reminder, hey, you need to take a look at this at this issue.
Right. That's great. So there is an automatic follow-up.
Yes.
And have you heard from citizens or others that they feel pretty good about the response they received and their case being taken care of, or the request being, addressed?
Yes, actually we have. So some residents will
Okay.
reply directly back to the text message that they received, and so we do see those types of messages, and they've all been, positive for the most part. They've said stuff like "thank you" or "wow, this was really great that your team came out and addressed this issue so quickly." I think one of the first ones was had to do when it was a little rainy and there was some puddling of water near the curb, and it was creating a bit of a safety hazard for an elderly resident. And so our team got out there, I think within an hour or so is what she said, and took care of the issue for her. So she was safe and got everything closed out, and she was really impressed by the turnaround time.
Well, that's great. So if a citizen wants to use the app or go to our website, how do they take advantage of that opportunity to log in their request?
So we have the Salinas Connect mobile app, which is a great tool for when we're on the go, because sometimes we have our busy lives and we're glued to our phone. But we want to make sure that we get that service request reported to the city. It's available on iOS as well as Android. It's free of charge, and it just requests basic information, who you are, what the issue is, and you're able to attach photos, and you can just snap them right with your phone, or you can, take the picture and upload them later. The other option that we have, as you mentioned, is reporting through the City of Salinas website. And it's very easy to find. You go to cityofsalinas.org, and there is a row of buttons there, of shortcut buttons, and you'll see the city, you'll see Salinas Connect logo, and right above it, it says service request. And so you just click that button, and it'll direct you right to the site. We're able to collect a little bit more information if you report through the City of Salinas website, so that's a benefit. You can give us more details. We also have knowledge-based articles that are available if you report through the website, and knowledge-based articles will basically give you like FAQs about the issue that you're reporting.
Okay.
So it's a great tool for residents as well.
So let's say it's around 2,000 requests. How many have been now closed? Do you know the percentage, or?
Yeah,
number?
over 70%, about 72% of those 2,000 requests have been closed,
That's
have been
pretty good.
addressed. Yeah, that really is good, considering that we saw such a spike when we
Right.
went live. You know, a spike in the number of tickets that or service requests that we were receiving, and we're still able to maintain a 72% closure rate. That's really great. And you know, of course, with some of the open tickets, it's those types of issues that are going to take a little bit of time. Maybe I know there's if there's like an ADA issue, it may require a contractor or somebody to come out, and that may take a month before they
Right.
get out. Or a traffic study, for instance, if somebody is requesting a new street sign or a new stop sign where there wasn't a stop sign before, it may require a traffic study, and those take several months or longer to address.
So is this available in Spanish?
Yes, when you're reporting through the City of Salinas website, it can easily be translated. You're able to access that through the mobile app as well,
Okay. Great.
utilizing the translation tool.
So, Sophie, do you know how many requests? We're about 250 a week now. Do you see that number going up?
You know, I'm not really an expert in data, but
Yeah.
in talking with Eric Sandoval from our GIS team, he says it's normal when we have new technology that everybody wants to give it a try in, and so it's normal to see a large spike like that. But
Yes.
it'll level out a little bit. But the main thing is that if there is an issue or a request for service that you need, we definitely encourage the community to take the time and report it. It's not about how many requests we're receiving. We just want to make sure that we know about it. We can't fix something that we don't know about.
Right. Are there any other cities that have the same similar system in and around Monterey County? Do we know?
You know, we did our research, and actually in the Tri-County area, there are some mobile apps, but not specific to service request management
Oh, gee.
systems. You know, certain ones may be specific to code enforcement or mobile apps specific to certain issue types, but
Right.
there wasn't one in general for all service requests, and definitely not one that is as robust as the system that we selected.
So, are there other governments, local governments, that have wondered or called you and said, "What's this Salinas Connect, and how can we be part of that?"
Not directly, but I have, you know, heard from, you know, some people that there are other local government entities that have been asking about it, and I think we're still in the early stages, and you know, it's sort of, you know, let's watch and see what's happening with it. We did get some media coverage on Salinas Connect when it went live, and I know definitely the response from the community. You know, they've downloaded the app, and they're out there, and they're definitely using it.
Well, that's great. Now, you know, you use it, so let me just ask you some questions, you know. Based on how you used to handle citizens' requests before, how do you compare the Salinas Connect system with what you used to do, which sounded pretty manual?
Yeah, it was very manual, and sometimes, you know, if I'm in a rush, it's a matter of, oh, where did I stick that Post-it note?
Right.
You know.
I know, I wrote it down.
Exactly. Or, you know, sometimes, you know, it was emailing the request to the department, and, you know, and sometimes it just gets lost in the shuffle because we receive so many emails throughout the day. Right. And so this system really, it's very easy, it's very simple. One of the benefits is if somebody calls the administration department, which is usually the first place they call if they're not sure where to go, and they say, you know, I reported something a couple of days ago. You know, I don't know who I talked to. I'm able to go right into the system and look it up and say, oh, okay, I see you spoke with this person, you know, over in the code enforcement department, and this is what I see. Somebody is going to be out there this afternoon to take a look at the issue. So that right there is a service to the resident. I personally, as well as other city staff and the frontline staff that is in contact with our residents on a daily basis, we have access to that information, and so
Great.
we can provide a better service.
Right. Well, that sounds like you're becoming so much more effective and efficient because you have a system you can rely on, and you don't have to do it all yourself
Yes.
and wait for somebody to answer a phone call on the other end to help you.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? When I started with the city about 3 years ago, I think the hardest part of learning my job was what issues go to who. And even before Salinas Connect, I don't know that I knew all of the answers. I may have thought I knew, but you know, just taking the guesswork out of that, it really allows us to be more efficient for our residents and provide a much better customer service experience for them as well. What we've tried to emphasize with the city and with this program is one call to City Hall. So if residents are not able to do it or not comfortable reporting through the website or mobile app, they can do one call to City Hall. Whoever answers the phone can get it into the system for them.
So does the system only operate from 8 to 5?
No, the system is actually, it's 24/7. So
Isn't that great?
Yes, absolutely, because you know, I think when we were doing one of the presentations to one of the commissions, the city commissions, one of the commissioners says, and this was after our launch date, yes, actually, you know, we had this storm and a tree, you know, tree branch fell down, and my wife told me to report it, and I didn't have to wait and remember. I just reported it right then, and it was taken care of the next day. So
Oh, that's wonderful. So weekends, nights,
weekends, nights.
you can get into the system, and if it's a work day next day, you'll probably get a response.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Sounds like a really valuable service for the community. I mean, they don't have to wait around to report. They don't have to just call somebody. They can actually take advantage of this and enter the system themselves. And it sounds like, you know, they have pretty good responses, timely, and their problems get taken care of. At least up to now, 70% of the cases have been closed.
Over 70%.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's really. Is there a number that you're? Obviously, you want 100%, but that you add requests all the time.
Yeah, you know, and I don't think it's realistic to say we will ever get to 100% because that means we won't have any work. But you know, to see that number of requests and see the number of requests coming in almost, or actually more than double, you know, in such a short period of time, and still be able to maintain a 70% closure rate.
Yes,
I mean, that's really great. Our teams are out there doing what they need to do. In getting the community, you know, cleaned up, or getting the vehicles that are abandoned off the streets, or taking care of the graffiti, trimming the trees. So, you know, so I think that the teams are doing a really good job, and it shows in the number.
So, do you know, Sophia, how much it costs to run the system annually, or we pay a fee to QSend, or the training we do, does that cost additional, or do we do that in-house? Or and
no,
if we get an upgrade, do we pay for that?
No, like I said, the upgrades are part of the deal. You know, so whatever new new pieces to the system that QSend adds, those we get to take advantage of those at no cost. I don't have the exact number, but it's around $30,000 a year.
Okay.
So, but when you're talking about being able to get out there and address 70% of the tickets within a timely fashion, within 2 weeks we're closed. The turnaround time for closures is of about 55% of the service requests are being closed within 2 weeks.
Wow.
You know, so that's really that's really getting out there and taking care of the issues. And so in terms of what this system is really allowing us to do in efficiency and streamlining the process, you know, it's money well spent, in my opinion.
So will there be, like, at the very, you know, maybe annually, some kind of citizen poll or survey that helps evaluate if they use the system. Will they, not everybody, right now, we might hear the people that are wowed at this point that we took care of their requests, but sometimes you need to spread out and ask, as many people as you can, what was your experience? How can we improve it? Just like any other customer service improvement, you want to figure out, is there more we can do, to help our residents?
Yes, absolutely.
So we'll do a poll or something?
Yeah, that's definitely not out of the question, and it's really important that we do get community feedback, like you said. When we initiated this process, it started with a 3-month-long survey, a survey that was out there to our community saying, okay, we hear you, we need to get better about the timeliness of service requests, and we need to fix X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And so we heard from our community, and we took that feedback on what types of issues they wanted in the system and how we could better manage our service requests. And so, yes, hearing from our community, we definitely do want to do that.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting to see what the data shows us after a few more months, because it's still relatively new. It's less than 6 months old.
Yes.
And it seems to be working, and it takes a while to really change our culture and even our employees to make sure that's just how you do the work, right?
Yes.
It's not something extra.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So hopefully we'll see you in a few months. We'll have some different numbers and some different experiences, and maybe we'll know a little bit more about how overall the citizens are feeling about this, and you'll be able to tell a little bit by the numbers and the closures and the categories that are, that you can see in terms of those requests and what you call tickets.
Yes.
And the closure. And also, I think it'd be good to, to the extent that council hears from the residents in their community, it might be useful to hear their, any third-party feedback they may be getting from the community as well, because they're out in the community all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to have you on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Good to see you again. Now, you've been working for the city for 3 years.
Yes, in the administration department as the executive assistant.
Yeah.
And my boss is you.
Sounds like a hot seat to me.
Yeah, it is.
It's like everybody just congregates there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I've learned a lot in my position, and, this is one of the biggest takeaways and what I've been able to learn from this whole process, as well as, working in administration, is what an important role we play in the community, and how important it is to make sure that our level of customer service and, doing what we can do to help our residents, how important that job is. And
Right.
so I feel really blessed to be a part of that and with the city.
Well, you've done a great job with the team, getting the team working together, selecting the product and the service, implementing it, training people on it. The city owes you a lot in terms of making sure our customer experience improves. Our citizens get better responses on the requests. We're able to streamline the time we take to help the customer. I think everybody wins. So
Yes.
thank you for a great job.
No, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this big project.
See you next time, Sophia.
See you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.